I mean, it's certainly inspired by things that have happened in our history. It's inspired by Japanese internment camps and Brown versus Board of Education and the WonderCon are probably our biggest inspirations in history, but, you know, we get to sort of make it our own and to draw from that and the things that happened back then and being able to adapt them to our world. Part of it, for sure.
And also, the most interesting part of it, at least for that setup, is that for a country with such vaunted and inclusive ideals, this country has had a very interesting relationship with outsiders, whether it was, you know, initially like the Irish or putting the Japanese in internment camps or, you know, as Meredith was talking about the Little Rock Nine. And, you know, we're always moving forward. We think we're always being enlightened, but this show has given us sort of like a unique platform to explore a lot of that, you know, sort of like what makes us distrust the outsider and how we react as people when we're put in those situations.
The long story is the short story of the long story is that a Spanish production company created a trailer, like a 2.5-minute trailer that was about like an alien race that had been integrated into a high school, but the show was never actually made.
Okay.
So an American production company purchased the rights literally to that concept.
Gotcha.
And that is what I adapted. What I loved about the trailer was just, you know, there was this sort of epic sci-fi romance feel to it that, I mean, that it dealt with racism, but there was also this sort of romance to it, this very small human story. Like, you could tell all these big stories about big themes, but if you don't have, like, the sort of human story behind it, on the character level, it doesn't mean anything. So I thought it was an interesting way to tell a story about racism without being like beating anyone over the head with that message. And also to be able to take just the seed of that idea and create our own world, our own alien culture, our own characters, was sort of a gift to be able to take that little piece and expand on it. I think it came from our room, right?
I think it came from our room because we talked about the fun thing about not having existing material to pull, you know, the Asian culture from is the fun of creating a culture from whole cloth. And then you get to challenge ideas, you know, like what is an accepted norm, an accepted mores of human culture that the Atrians don't have and they're actually really freed by. And we loved the idea with Sophia. It wasn't just that, you know, she would then just be classified as gay. She's the gay agent. She's a person who believes that you don't have to, you know, classify people in those small pigeonhole boxes. You know, and so she's representing like that very unique point of view, and we're so happy for it.
Yeah. What's nice about the way that she plays that scene too, it's like almost like she's like, I don't even, you guys are the freaks here. You know? Like, I don't understand why you limit yourself, and I just think it's an interesting perspective for her.
Yeah, it was shocking, but it was refreshing. It was kind of like, oh, you know, it was just so interesting.
I wish you want to limit yourself.
Don't you find that limiting? I love that whole scene. I thought it was great.
And that's a big, that's an excellent case because it's one of those things where you show, you know, how alien and different cultures or literally an alien race is, but really what sort of connects them and us and our viewers is just that, you know, their motivations are very human, and the way they process it and the way they feel things is very human. And, you know, I like to think of that as sort of our Shakespearean, you know, like through line of like, as foreign or as much as someone seems like the enemy, you know, if you cut them, they bleed, you know, and they hurt in the same ways.